So the camera's not fucking working. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to another Facebook live stream. It's not the 9th, is it? No, it's the 3rd of December, and it's earlier than usual. We're going on at sort of 2 today instead of 3 because I'm doing a live podcast. Well, not live, I've got a recorded podcast in another hour and a half, so I needed to come on a bit early today. I'll tell you about that one in a minute. If you're interested in joining us, you're more than welcome. Um, we have a little look to see who's around and what we might see. Okay, Steve Daniels is there. How you doing, Steve? It's nice to see you, mate. Or not see you, nice to hear from you, should we say. Got a couple of people online. Dave Pegg is here. How you doing, Dave? A little bit earlier than normal, mate. I'm glad you managed to catch the message that I was on. I actually did. We can talk about the Watford game on here as well today because I did actually do a review of the Watford game on YouTube yesterday, which is something I'm going to do more of, previews and reviews on YouTube. These are going to be recorded and put on YouTube as well. We're trying to build the YouTube profile up because of the charity side of things, and it'll be interesting, obviously, to see how we do on that. We're doing really well on it. I did a lot of stuff on. I did a lot there yesterday. I was really pleased. Let me have a look. Steve Daniels, Dave Pegg, Steve Donnelly. Yeah, everyone good. Yeah, did you see it, Dave? I don't know if you watched it or not. We had a lot of viewers on it, and I don't know. It's different for me doing it like that because I'm not actually talking to anyone, obviously. And with this, we have a bit of more interaction, which is what I like. But we've seen before how much of a problem it causes sometimes with this because it just crashes for no reason, or you just lose a little bit of internet connectivity and bang, it's gone. So it's not really. I mean, this format isn't really what Facebook's all about. Facebook's all about like interacting via posts and stuff, but they offer the live option, which is really good, but it just isn't. It doesn't actually work that good. Generally speaking, it's all right, and we hope it is today. But if I suddenly disappear, you'll know why it is. It just happens, Yeah. So, Dave, can you see comments? Yeah, I can. Yeah, I can see them. Yeah. So you can make. I'm sorry, I can't see them live. No, but I can see comments that you make. We can't. I mean, I can do a live and do that, but I just don't think it would be really worth it. We might have a go at it. I've got to see. This week we've been in talks with people doing the new website, and we're going to be. We'll have a live embedded part of the website, so you can actually interact with us there, as well. Steve Daniels, what do you think about Southampton? Um, it is, but it's a bit like our last sort of 5 or 6 games. Southampton are, because we'll be playing against a team that is willing to play, and that's really important for us. Is that we can play our football. We don't like to play behind a low block. We've seen that before. It's difficult for anyone to play behind that. When we get teams coming and playing us at football, generally speaking, we can beat them. Although there have been times when we've struggled. Leicester early on in the season, Middlesbrough beat us. Really, they were a bit fortunate. So earlier on in the season, when we weren't quite settled, but now I think it's a different animal really when we play away from home. Um, Lee Wilk is talking to us from Milan. Whoa, okay, Lee. Do you live in Italy, Lee, or are you just on holiday? Um, yeah, and something else I wanted to talk about. I mean, we can talk about the Watford game if you want, but I also did want to chat today about how we about what you think. our credentials are for getting promoted. Steve Daniels is saying there's no way they won't play that low block. There's absolutely no way. Southampton are a footballing team, and they will want to come out and play us. The important thing for us is that we, well, is that we stay tight and we don't lose concentration. It can happen with us sometimes. We've seen it before, but it's not the end of the world. Richard Lawton's on saying, "Hiya, Steve. How you doing, Rich?" I think we played really well against Watford. They're obviously not a bad side, and they gave us a decent game. We did deserve to win that game, but it wasn't easy. After being 2 up, you sort of look at that game and think this is. And I think had Ducks scored the really good chance that he missed, I think we then go on and win that game, probably 4 again. But it wasn't to be, and that's something that we have to work hard at, is finishing better. Both Ducks and Kyogo missed really good chances this season. Ducks a little earlier in the season missed 2 or 3 really good opportunities, and then on Tuesday night he missed an absolute sitter that would have put us 3 up, and that would have been game over. Kyogo, I think the gaffer's patience is worn a little bit thin with him now, and I think like when we bring a sub on now for Ducks, it's more likely to be Lyndon Dykes than Kyogo. I think Richard's making a point that everyone's made, is that our away form needs to improve. It's not quite so much that. You could say, if you wanted to, our away opponents could be worse, because we have played probably the best teams in the league away from home so far. Lee Wilk is saying he lives here, he's been here for 2 years. I'm just going down the Blues. Yeah, well, you probably know, Lee, I live in Spain. I've been here for 11 years. Of course you're going to miss it, but you can watch on Blues TV. So, it isn't the best. I mean, Jesus, the other night, all sorts of things are going on with it. They always lose the live feed. The annoying thing is when they come back, they never say, "Oh, we're sorry for that," or explain what happened. They just carry on as if it never happened. Sometimes the volume is coming in and out, it's driving you mad. It's just, I prefer sometimes just to go to the opposition team and watch their feed. It sometimes is better. We can have a little. I mean, you've got 2 teams here that have only lost 1 game recently. Southampton lost to Millwall 3-2, didn't they, last weekend? Prior to that, they'd actually won 4 on the trot. So we've both got similar expectations, which is to be promoted. But they have done really, really well, and they've scored 8 goals. They've scored 10 goals in those 5 games. We scored 13 or 14 at the same time. Sparkle, how are you, love? I hope you're alright. I think we have found the best, strongest team now. Just need Kogo to score. I think a couple of new signings wouldn't go amiss. We are strong, and Super Chris knows what we need. Yeah, I don't know how many more options Kyogo is going to get, to be honest. And I think we're going to sign a striker in the close season. In the January window. I think that's a must. We can't continue like this, because we've got 1 goal, we've got 1 striker scoring goals, and who you feel confident is gonna finish a 1-on-1. That's one of the things. So saying I think we might get to playoffs. Yeah, I'm certain we're going to get to playoffs. I've got for me, I've got the target of automatic. It's only over the last 7 games that we've really found our strongest side. It made me laugh, actually. There was someone, I forget his name now, doing it. He does this kind of little write-up in our group. It's nothing to do with us. Like, he sort of, I don't know, like, he just does a review of the game. And this guy said that we struggled on Tuesday because the new way that we play with the Iwata inverting. I mean, this is what it does my head in. If people don't understand the game, don't comment on it, because we've played that inverting fullback for the last season and a half. Iwata isn't, since Iwata's played, we haven't played that system. We've played that system forever. Iwata just happens to play that system as well, and he plays it really well, admittedly. But we had the person that actually first played that inverting fullback this season was Bright Asai Samuel, so you don't have to tell him about it. And of course, Ethan Laird plays it really, really well, and did last season as well. It drives you mad. Sar saying here, Clara and Neumann play so well together. Just hope we get the win on Saturday. We do seem better at home. I think it's the atmosphere from the home fans. Spurs them home. As you say, we have had strong away teams. We've played some really big opposition away from home. I think we've played everyone in the top six so far. So that, except for actually Southampton's coming this weekend. So there's another tough one. It's not going to be easy. The two, I did want to talk about, like, perhaps what we need in January, but also what do you think? Are you confident that we might go up this season? And also, something else to think about is, who do we think in the current team, honestly, could play in the Premier League? Have a little think about that. We have had this conversation before, and I think you all know my feelings on that. The days of, I think the days of like building a team for the Premier League are gone. Paul James, good afternoon, Paul. So it used to be where probably 5 or 6 years ago you build the team over a few seasons and make it good enough for a Premier League. I mean, it never was good enough anyway. When it got up, the majority of teams came down. But we've seen it over the last 3 or 4 seasons where if you go up, you come straight back down. Like, forget building for the Premier League, because you can't build for a Premier League. Who are you going to sign? You're not going to sign £20 million players that are going to come and help you build a championship team. They can go and play in the Premier League straight away. They don't need to wait. They're not going to wait for the big money. They want to play in the Premier League. So what happens is, and it's going to happen more and more, is that teams are going to build to win promotion, and then in the close season buy to compete in the Premier League. Buy and sell. I mean, the players that have just got promoted are worth some money to sell to teams that are probably building to get promotion. Sarah's saying, I'll be honest, I don't think we're ready for Premier League football. I think comfortably in this league for now, definitely, potentially, but not yet. So you heard what I just said about that, Si. If you're good enough for promotion, then you get promoted. Don't think about what's going to happen next season, because this team in the Premier League will get murdered. We wouldn't get, we'd be struggling for points. Absolutely, definitely. I mean, if you go, listen, we'll go through the team, all right? This is my point of view. You can say what you want, of course. No, they weren't. They weren't ready for the Prem, no, but they spent loads of money in the close season, Steve. That's the point. Sunderland bought loads of new players in the close season. So is that the point you're making? I'm sorry, I'm not having to go at you, but yes, Sunderland weren't ready. They got promoted, and they were lucky to get promoted, I think. But when they got promoted, they spent well. That's what you got to do. You're not building for it. You're building to get promoted, and then you buy to survive. So, we've had this conversation before about who's good enough, and like I said, I don't think that our current team wouldn't survive. There's no doubt about that. And you have to be brutally honest when you do these things, because this is what the manager has to do. So at the end of the season, if this was Chris Davis's team, it's challenging, to sort of think, well, are you going to, how far do you take loyalty? You can't take loyalty into the Premier League. You can't. So saying, when there's the cash, so let's spend it. I mean, we're going to be restricted in what we spend. Of course we are, because financial fair play. It's not called that anymore, though. It's going to be called, I forget what it's called now. I think it's SSP or something. But what it means is the rules have changed. So you can't whatever you spend, you have to have earned, and you can only spend 80% of it on players and managers and coaches. It's all lumped together. It's a lot more simple, but the revenue has to be there. But we are really good at making revenue, aren't we? We can see that. Stevie's saying if we get promoted, Wagner would go mental with that checkbook. Yeah, he can't go mental with it. He has limits, with what he can spend. We'll have the Premier League money, but the thing is, we have to generate the income. So, we've got a ground that holds 27,000, but we earn an awful lot of money from sponsorship. I think we earn more than any team outside the Premier League on sponsorships and all the other stuff that we do. So there is that. Something else you might be able to do, by the way, if anyone's thinking about renaming the new stadium, is you can't do it under the new rules. That's not a way of earning income, so a powerhouse it is. I think it's a great name myself. I mean, I remember when Sunderland built their new stadium, when they left Roker Park and called it the Stadium of Light. I mean, I was pissing myself because that's the name of Benfica's ground, and to put something called the Stadium of Light in Sunderland, I mean, what on earth is that about? But they did, and of course, we all sort of accept it now, don't we? But yeah, I think the Powerhouse is a great name for us. I think if we managed to sign Beadle, I think he would be a Premier League keeper. The Premier League keepers are different to Championship keepers, and he's like that. He doesn't do a lot of catching with the ball. That coach not to anymore. He gets the ball up the pitch quickly. I think he gets it up there too quickly sometimes. Tends to come back. Uh, this Chris Davis now wants that ball up there ASAP, and that's obvious from the way we play, isn't it? Um, Sari's saying that the new stadium, not sure on the chimneys, but will be seen by all the other Midland clubs, Villa Wolves. Yeah, well, I love the chimneys, actually, I really do. I think it's a great addition to the stadium, and it definitely makes us stand out from everyone else. Sari's saying Beadle is amazing, really grown in confidence since coming to Blues. He has, and in all honesty, like the Blues fans haven't done much to help him grow in confidence, because a lot of them are slating him. People saying, "Oh, I'm not comfortable with Beadle," or "Oh, Beadle, they're like, listen, we all love Ryan Allsop, okay, but like I just said before, there's no room for sentiment in football. Beadle's had the opportunity to play, and he's took it in both hands. That's not meant to be a joke. He's punched it away, but he doesn't need us to protect him either, because he's not scared to stand up for himself. I mean, I don't know if you remember that argument he had with Chris Clara. He was right in Clara's face when Clara didn't put his name on it, and he went mad, didn't he? But I like to see that. He's only a kid. He's very, very, very opinionated and strong, and he's no fool. I think Paul James is saying the overall squad cost uh, are to be limited to 85% of a club's revenue. Yeah, I think it's 80% now, Paul. I think um, so. Yeah, it has to include absolutely everything. So it's not the overall squad cost, it's also now inclusive of coaches and managers and agents as well. So I think this is football trying to put the squeeze on the agents, because if you're a manager or an owner of a club, you don't want to be making loads of money, spending money on agents when what have they got to do other than represent a player? I think what we look at in future is that players will, club will say to a player, if an agent approaches us on your behalf, you are the one that pays the agent, we don't. And I think that's the way it's going to go, and I think it's really, really clever, a good way to do it. Graham Parish, 80%. Yeah, that's right, mate. It is 80. Paul James, okay, cheers, Steve. No problem, Paul. So let's get Haaland. Cars will be flying in. We use someone. We need someone like him who we can afford. Yeah. Um, But I think when we go for these players, it's like in this January window, someone was saying to me, get Sargent from who does he play for? Sargent, it's Norwich, in it. Get Sargent, sign Sargent. Like, well, yeah, great, but they value him at 20 million. That's what they want for him. He's a very, very good centre forward. He'd suit us down to the ground, but they want 20 million. You won't see us buying players like that. You're going to see us buying players like the ones we bought already. Would go out. For instance, like look at Jay Stansfield. Look at him. Look at Kyogo. Look at players that we bought that no one else would have bought. Um, Richard Lawton, yeah, we need goals to take her on a promotion. And the thing is, Richard, that we've scored loads of goals recently. The problem is that we are getting some really easy chances to convert, and we're not converting them, and those are the ones that we have to put away. If we scored those one-on-ones, I don't think Tuesday would have been different because we won anyway. You can only win, but the goal difference would have been better. But I think both Kyogo and Doc's missed chances earlier on in the season that probably would have given us another 9 points, and that makes a massive difference to where we are at the moment. I think Kumas will be gone. I pray we need Tommy Doyle. We do need Tommy Doyle. Jason Kumas is a very capable squad member. Now, it depends on whether or not Liverpool want to keep him because he's not getting game time with us, I don't think at the moment if we were promoted to Premier League, Kumas would be someone that we would sign. I don't think he's Premier League ready himself yet. He wouldn't get into a Premier League side, so that's fair enough. Start saying, well, watch too much sometimes. I need to shut it down quickly. That's where we go wrong. Ball watching. Well, that's a very strong opinion there, Sar. I don't know about ball watching. I mean, if you look at us on Tuesday, I think we snapped into the challenges all the time, and Tommy Doyle was relentless. I mean, he breaks play. He's a lot more physical than I thought he would be when he first came. He puts his foot in. You have to explain what you mean by ball watching. Excuse me. Um, yeah, what you mean by ball watching? I mean, the way we're going to get caught out on breaks, right? It's no good people coming on after the game and saying, oh, like no one was covering, for instance, covering Bright to say Samuel when he went forward, the ball was over the back into the space where he should be. Well, yeah, he should be there, of course he should. But when we play the game we play, and you push Bright to say Samuel right up into the opponent's final third, if they hit the long ball, he cannot get back. It's physically impossible. And if you want to watch Blues go forward with 9 players in the opposition half attacking, which we have done over the last 3 or 4 home games and some away games, West Brom for one, they can't be in 2 places. If the ball's hit long, that's how teams like us get caught out all the time. Teams that play possession football the way that we play it take a risk. And the risk is you have to sometimes expect breaks, one-on-ones against your team. It's going to happen. And a lot of times the teams don't convert them, but sometimes they do. And when they do, it's part of how we play. We can play the low block if you wanted to watch that, That's the opposite of what we do, isn't it? So saying sometimes we let them run too much with the ball, like we're scared to go in for the tackle, if that makes sense. It does, yeah. And we're not often in that position where we got like 7 or 8 men behind the ball, but we do. There's a balance between ball watching and committing too soon. If you're going too soon or you go to ground, you're going to lose your man. The thing to do is obviously to shadow the player with the ball and don't give him a sight of goal, and then go in when you feel confident to win a tackle. But but I know what you mean. Yeah, and well, and a fantastic and a great example of ball watching was Tuesday night when when our own Pake scored. We had three Norwich defenders watching him and actually standing off him. Someone was saying, and I've read it a few times actually. It was Monday, wasn't it? Not Tuesday. Sorry, Richard. I just read your post there. Um, Someone was saying, and I've watched this several times, and it just isn't true. They've said that when the ball broke, when Pike won that ball, which he did just by pressing, pure hard work, he won that, and physically went through the player, who was, by the way, what's his name, the one that tackled him knee high and nearly killed him. When he should have been sent off, he shouldn't have been in the position to stand in front of him. But anyway, he beat him for the ball, took it off him, went forward, and he got three defenders, two to his left, one to his right, or the other way around. And someone said that Stansfield went one way and took a defender, Ducks went the other way and took a defender. They didn't. Ducks went right, the defender didn't go with him. Stansfield was left anyway and wasn't really a threat. But the three defenders literally just stood in front of Pike and backpedaled, and the further they went towards their goal, I thought, what are they doing? You know, he's going to hit this in a minute. And of course, the rest is history. It was a beautifully struck ball, hit with the outside of his right foot, that nearly took the back of the net out. What an absolutely lovely goal. Richard Lawton is saying Doyle certainly put his foot in on, but he did make starting tackles, winning the balls back before pushing us forward. He's such a good footballer, isn't he? He's Premier League quality, there's no doubt about that. There's one that would play in the Premier League if we get promoted, you know. This lad reminds me a lot of Mark Ward, if you remember Mark Ward, what a wonderful footballer he was. And he's very, very similar in the way he plays. He's small, he's quite robust. He makes things, difficult things, look simple. His awareness is good. He's all over the pitch. He's doing it in front of his own penalty area as well as the opposition. He's just a lovely footballer. So, you know, long live Tommy Doyle. And if we have to pay 10 million for him, that would be a deal for me. You know, an absolute bargain. What a lovely player. I mean, what are Wolves doing? You know, loaning out players like that when you look at their team. I mean, I watched them play. I don't know, 3 or 4 weeks ago. Not since Rob Edwards has been there. I watched them play against Chelsea, and they're absolutely awful. They just put a low block on, and they did it against Villa, and they got the new manager there, Rob Edwards. I mean, you know, they are absolutely going down. And is Rob Edwards going to get the bullet when they go down? Because it wouldn't surprise me. He's got half a season to do something if he continues to play the way they did against Villa. They were very, very lucky that Villa didn't take advantage of the amount of possession they had. Paul Jones, it's good to see Samstead get a game. Yeah, it's good to see any, you know, honestly, Paul, it's good to see any player get time when you know they do what they're supposed to do, see their contract out, be called on when they're needed. It's been hard for Samstead. He's got three right backs in front of him that are all going to be chosen before he is. He played earlier in the season against Port Vale when we played him at left back, and he was absolutely murdered. And if you remember that game, it was him at left back. It was Cashin on left-sided centre half, and it was Neumann on right-sided centre half, and the three of them got taken to pieces. That was not long before Neumann lost his place, and Samstead, you know, he had just had a bad game. Neumann since then, you know, Neumann, like looking at the back four, you would say that, you know, like Iwata would, if we got promoted, Iwata is a player I would definitely take with me as a member of that squad. Two centre backs, I don't know. They're both really, really good championship centre halves. They can put their head on it. They're strong. They're powerful. I don't know if they're athletic enough, and I don't know if they can play football enough. So Neumann, as we've seen on a lot of occasions, isn't the best at distributing the ball. although he's quick and he's strong, I don't know. You know, in terms of Premier League, I don't think he's there. Clara again. Well, of course, Clara used to play for Southampton, so he'll be going home on Saturday to play. Not literally going home, but you know what I mean. That's where he started his career. Um, but Chris Clara, I don't know. Like in the Premier League, he might if he's got a really good footballing centre half beside him. Um, He's not playing in his favourite position at the moment. He prefers to play on the right, and he is better on the right. There's no doubt about that. When he brings the ball out, he's better at distributing it when it's on his right foot. But you know, there's nothing wrong with Neumann and Robinson, to be honest. Except Robinson was a four. Robinson is a good left-sided centre half, and of course he's got Premier League experience. But anyway, you know that's out the window at the moment unless one of those two get if um, Clara or Neumann get a suspension, then Robinson's going to be playing. um, Sari's saying that Iwata is great. He's a lovely player. I mean, Jesus, you know, he's been so good. Just when you think that you can't see any more out of Iwata, you know, he just produces more. Uh, let's have a look. What the hell has happened to Scott Wright? He's still injured, mate. He hasn't got a squad number anyway, so he couldn't play if he was fit. So it's a long-term injury. I don't think he'd get into this side anyway at the moment. You know, he's not Patrick Roberts, that's for sure. But you know, let's see what happens to him. Um, Paul James saying Norman's best game. It was one of his better games. But you know, he has a lot of good games. He's a good, solid championship centre half. But that's exactly what he is, and that's what he is, and that's what we need. And he's doing that job for us. You know, he's fine. Um, let's have a little look at Saar. Can we talk about Robbo? Incredible player, does so much work. Yeah, he's a lovely footballer, and I keep saying this quote that Tony Mowbray said about him, because it's such a good quote, you know, that he could play football in a phone box. And we've seen him do it on Monday. He had three players around him, and he came out with the ball at his feet in those conditions. You know, he's an absolutely wonderful footballer, Premier League quality, wonderful touch, proper approach to the game, and only 28. Steve Daniels is saying it's a tough one, Steve. So hypothetically, we have 40 million to spend in January. Pick 5 players you would replace from our current starting 11. Well, okay then. Left back, one of the centre halves for definite. Um, Possibly a right back as well. I mean, you could look really at replacing 3 of the 4 uh, defenders. I know that sounds tough because the way Watter's been playing that, but we wouldn't be able to play like that. He wouldn't get away with that in the Premier League team, so it's a difficult one. Um, I think across the middle, you know, like it's a hard one with Paik without seeing him play in the Premier League. I wouldn't want to, with Paik, if I had to make a choice, I would probably say no. But that would be really hard on him. He's such a good footballer. Doyle, yes. Uh, Demari, he's 20. He's 29. He's got a season or two in him in the Premier League, probably. Stansfield, yes. Ducks, no. Roberts, again, what I've just said, he's a Premier League footballer, but he's getting on a little bit for that. But probably, and if we replace them with decent players, then we'd still be in that bottom half of the table, definitely, and fighting for our lives, you know. Pat Aslam, how you doing, Pat? It's lovely to see you, mate. I'm glad you're getting back onto these with me. Brett Noakes is saying, keep right on, everyone. Keep right on, Brett. Hope you're all right, kid. Nice to see you here. Steve Daniels, brutal question, but it is brutal, mate. It is, and this is what I was saying earlier about a manager having to put aside loyalty. You have to now look at how loyal some of our players are. You know, you only have to look at the you only have to take a look at Clara. You know, take a look at Cochrane. I mean, Cochrane, you won't get a better club man. You know, he's absolutely brilliant. He's not a Premier League full left back. He's not. You know, Steve Dunn saying. Yeah, left back, centre mid, left back, centre back, centre mid, right mid, forward. Yeah, yeah. You know, I couldn't agree more with you, Steve. For the Prem dreamers, this has to be done. It does, and you can't think. Like I said earlier, and I'm going to say it again. You cannot build a Premiership league, a Premiership team in the Championship. So all these people that are saying, you know, well, you know,